Hello there, Big Benedict here. We're playing Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, and this is my Master Ninja Difficulty Gaiden walkthrough. We're currently on Chapter 6 of 17. It is entitled The Aqua Capital. So we're fresh off the female chapter of Momiji in the last chapter, and we're back into the all too trustable hands and all too capable hands of Ryu. Now notice I did some sort of a jumping forward Y attack over there, and I knocked the lycanthrope into the water, and that instantly kills him. So that was interesting to see that. Although we're not going to make a habit of doing it and incorporating it as a strategy because it's kind of pointless. Now I did have the Endless Fang on briefly. I wanted to let you know that I am going to be using the Endless Fang on the Water Dragon. And I love how they call him the Water Dragon, like his name. When you fight him, the name over the health bar says the Water Dragon. You know, it just sounds kind of silly. You know, why can't you just call him Water Dragon? Is he, the only water dragon that exists or something like that? Now over to the left, there is a chest that has red essence in it. I always get confused, and I'm sorry about these areas with potential slowdown. I'm not really sure what's happening. This is the first time that I'm recording a walkthrough using my new PC, which I got several months ago. And that kind of just shows you, well, maybe it wasn't several months, maybe it was 2 months ago, but it kind of shows you the fact that I haven't been making walkthroughs lately. But the thing is with that is, this is the first time that I'm recording with this PC, and I'm experiencing some teething issues. Now, what those teething issues are, I'm not really sure. If it's the video card, which is it's a brand new 4090 in there, whether it's Vegas Pro 22 that I'm using, or if it's just the fact that I'm using the highest settings on Elgato software recording to get this to go, and I have 64 gigabytes of RAM, which should be more than sufficient. In my last rig, I had 128 gigabytes, and I'm thinking of doubling up my RAM and putting it back up to 128. Ordinarily, 64 is perfectly sufficient, because I looked on the Vegas Pro website, and the RAM requirements for Vegas Pro 22, the editing software that I'm using, is only 16 gigabytes, which is, when you already have 64, 16, you can see the difference there, but that doesn't take into account for anything else other than Vegas Pro's requirements. There's other requirements, of course, that need RAM and things running in the background all the time. So I'm thinking, here's the Dragon's Claw and Tiger's Fang. I'm thinking of upgrading the RAM to 128, like I said, because right now I have 64 gigabytes. But the thing is, I had 64 gigabytes back in like 2015 when I had a PC that was like 5 PCs back. So I'm thinking, maybe since I'm using such high quality, high fidelity, and I'm outputting 4K videos, I'm editing and rendering 4K videos, maybe we do need to step it up. So it looks like I'm upgrading my Dragon's Claw and Tiger's Fang to level 2, which I would recommend. But also, you don't need to go back there to the left. On Ninja Gaiden 2, there was a Kasarigama. There was a couple of other items there too as well on the area that we just passed a while ago. But on this version, there might have been a crystal skull. I can't remember. There probably was, but the only thing left now for us to pick up over there is a box that has red essence in it. So if we do need that, we can come back and get it at a later point. So I would clear that first fight, and then come on over here and deal with these enemies over here. And the preview window that when I'm doing my audio commentary and I'm watching the video back, so that I can sync up the audio commentary precisely with the video. I have it in like draft quality. It's still good quality. It's very serviceable. I can see every detail that I need to see. But I've always in the past not needed to put it on draft. I've always been able to put it on best, meaning that the picture when viewing it in the playback screen is the highest quality possible, and I never had any like visual hiccups or anything like that on my old PC. So these are just teething issues again, like I mentioned, that we'll have to justify. But how do you like the look of these new Lycans? I think they're just absolutely great. They did a fantastic job modeling these guys and deciding on their feature set, and they look. I think they look better. They don't have that seeming hierarchy of different colors like the other ones had, but they look far less goofy. They look threatening, and I like them quite a bit. Okay, so over here, this is an item. I'm not sure what the item is. It's probably an herb, but just bear in mind that when you come over here, you're going to have two of these ones to deal with. The move I'm doing right there is it's forward Y hold to do that move. And then there should also be another Van Gelf on his heels over here. Now, bear in mind, we are going to be picking up the first of the two Spirit of the Devils coming up over here. One of my first early playthroughs of this game, I just completely passed over it because it's on a corpse, and I was looking for it to be on a chest, in a chest somewhere, excuse me. But before you go over here, consider saving it if you want to. You don't need to. However, the item I talked about is right here, Spirit of the Devils. So that's the first one of two that we'll pick up. Now, if we want to, we can use all of our Nympho over here, because even if you use all your Nympho over here and you clear this fight, you can go all the way back to that chest that I mentioned that has a full replenishment of your red essence. So I don't think it came to that over here. It didn't come to that necessarily. But this is one of those situations where there's just a lot of intimidating enemies. There's a lot of enemies that are throwing projectiles. Do you see how these blood gajas, as they're called, those enemies with the spikes on them and the large breasts, those red creatures that I'm just Azuna dropping right now, are actually kind of flying swallow throwing at the end there. He has several He has several Azuna drops. But the way that you do an Azuna drop is the normal combination of XYXXXY. But if you do XYXXX and then do a slight pause, instead of doing the Azuna drop, he will I don't know if it's still classified as an Azuna drop, but it might be classified as a throw, but he does a like a flying swallow finisher to it, and it looks really fantastic. So again, I apologize for these visual stutters. I have no idea what is the problem with this. So again, it's just teething issues that are just plaguing this. Because I can't say that it's occurring in game. It's not occurring in the game. It's occurring while I'm playing back the video, having put the edited clips into the rendering software. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. I won't lie and say that it's not fucking pissing me off though. But hopefully you're gonna be less pissed off on a section like this where the loathed water mine has been removed. And of course it wasn't just one mine, it was like 10 million fucking thousand of them over there. Over to the right, there's some mines over there. I think there's a collectible, a ghost head, or a ghost skull, what have you. But keep doing your water run over here. And I'm hoping that when the video is rendered, maybe those visual hiccups that I'm seeing now on my screen will not be shown on the screen. Maybe, maybe they're just being seen in playback. So if they do occur anymore, I'm not going to mention them just in case that they go away once the file is uploaded. Okay, so we have a little difficult situation here, only because when you jump into that area, you're all set in your mind to save it, and of course the statue dims, meaning that there's enemies around. So the best thing to do probably would be to get behind some of these stairs. I do like the nice touch of when you're behind pieces of the geometry in this game. The game does that Devil May Cry thing where it takes what is opaque and makes it transparent so that you can see behind it. Really like that. Okay, so we have a nympho over here, I believe. Yes. Here's the Art of the Piercing Voice. So now we have all the nymphos. Just bear in mind, though, that when you get down here, there's going to be an ambush. There's going to be guys in front of you and in back of you. So you need to really be careful. And if you can get off a UT, you're very fortunate, because it's not easy to get off a UT there whatsoever. There's a store over here, should you want to avail yourself of that. And then over to the left, there is a door that on Ninja Gaiden 2 had a key in it and maybe something else good in it. But on this version, once the fight is over and you're out of combat, you can have access to that door. It will just open and you can go in there. And I think what's in there is an artifact, like a piece of journal, and possibly something else. I'm not sure. But I can't tell you how much I hate the look of that flame projectile that these guys have now. See the door over there to the left open? I'm not going to go in there. There might have been a skull in there too. I'm not sure. But come on over here this way. Save it if you like, because I think you're trapped in here over here. Are you trapped? Maybe not. I don't think they trap you in this location. Nah, you can go back. Certainly you should go back, because while you're engaging with these enemies, you will have those flyers around. Okay, so we were able to take care of everybody back here in the safety of that little alcove back there. We've got a couple of flyers left. When you're jumping and shooting the arrow, it does less damage than if you're just standing on the ground shooting the arrow. Of course, the trade-off there is that to deal more damage, you have to become more vulnerable, which I don't particularly care for that trade-off. I think it's kind of tacky. There should be some enemies in here. I'm looking behind me because on the... Fuck you. Like I said, I was looking behind me because I think on Ninja Gaiden 2, they pincered you there so that there was a guy or guys behind you and in front of you there. Yeah, that was low down. Low down of me, really. I should have not got distracted there. What's in here? Ah, bats. Shitting bats. Dog shitting bats. But we did get a red essence drop. That's rare. So keep your block held. And again, anytime a battle is finished and you have damage on you and you see blue essence staggered in the environment, make sure to wait until the game has refilled your health up to the critical damage level, and then release your block and absorb the blue essence. That is how. It's mostly when I see something like that I correct. Like when people don't do what I just advised you to do, when they don't have that sort of philosophy ingrained into them or that teaching, I can tell that they're probably a newer type of player. Which there's nothing wrong with being a new player, folks, because I was a new player at this game at one point, and people didn't come along and chastise me and kick me, when I was down and things like that. They fostered the love of the game within me, and said all good things about it and encouraged me. But I'm just saying, like, on like from somebody looking at it from the outside and seeing somebody not absorb the essence after the critical damage has been healed up to, that just immediately tells me that they're not familiar with the game very much. And, they're a newer type of player, but you only have to listen to one of my videos and one of my teachings to know that and implement it. And then, you're no longer ignorant of that fact, and you'll become less and less of a new player. Okay. So this should be Lives of the Thousand Gods. It's going to take some time to get over here, because I don't think I can move the camera too well. Alright, jump on down here, pick up the great item, and since we're not in combat, it's going to regenerate our health all the way up. Well, it looks like we had critical damage. Okay, so I'll have to play that back. That was kind of odd. I wasn't comfortable seeing that just now, what exactly happened. But I guess I'm used to getting those Lives of the Thousand Gods when I already have full health. So maybe it was a little bit more confusing this time around. However, we do only have one more Life of the Gods to pick up on this chapter. And at this point, if you've been following my walkthrough and minding the item pickup list in all my descriptions, except for the female chapters, they don't have item description sections in the descriptions because they don't have the type of pickups that are relevant for Ryu. And I don't like this room because of the fog here. I don't recall there being fog here at Ninja Gaiden 2. But what I was going to say though is that you should have 8 of 18 Life of the Gods, and each 9 that you get an upgrade. So since we are going from 8 to 9 for our Life of the Gods, pickups, we'll be getting a life extension right before the boss. And I still get really irritated by them calling this Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. It really frustrates me, and I think it's unfair for the people that aren't familiar with these games, and they just don't know that they don't know the history of the word black and what it stands for. And also, if you're, because Ninja Gaiden 2 is Ninja Gaiden 2, so when people say Ninja Gaiden 2, they mean, if you're like me, you mean the original game. And if you talk about, adding the word black to it, that means you're calling it a definitive version of Ninja Gaiden 2. And it frankly is not, because it's more of a definitive version of Sigma 2, if anything else, Because just think about it this way. Ninja Gaiden 2, you're throwing ISs and you're throwing windmill shurikens and you're doing tests of valor, amongst a whole host of other peculiar things that you do in that game. Okay, so if you're doing that, then you're playing Ninja Gaiden 2. If you're fighting Tengus and you're different female characters and you're doing a campaign that has 17 chapters rather than 14 chapters, you're playing Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2. So there's nothing wrong with calling this there's nothing wrong with, say, calling it Sigma 2 Black, but I think they were just trying to be kind of cheeky about it, and the ignorant people be damned, I guess, is their point of view. But once you pick up the Howling Cannon, and you do have to pick it up, unfortunately, you're going to have, once you leave the cell, like one forward jump up, and then you'll be accosted by those lycanthropes. Now, before I go down here, I wanted to mention that I went to the to Miramassa's and upgraded my Endless Fang from level 2 to level 3. So there's an edit around these areas over here. Of course, when you fall down this way and land down in this actually like beautiful area, you can no longer go to the store, so be careful about that. So we're gonna access the save over here, and then instead of fighting Van Gels like you would on the original game, you're gonna be fighting fish, just some fish. And then there's quite a few items in the boss, what I would call the boss room. Although when you fight the boss, you're in a very small area that's only a very small fraction of the actual room. Try not to get hit on these. If you do get hit, like I do, I think at some point, just absorb the plentiful blue drops that these guys give out to you, because this down here is going to give you, what it gives you, whether it's 2,500, 3,000. I'm not sure what those items equate to, monetarily speaking, in Miramassa's shop. Also considering the discount, all I know is that you're getting a good helping of money. So be fortunate for that. Now I'm putting the Endless Fang on because I want to fight the boss with this, but I am forgetting simultaneously that it's not over yet as far as fighting fish. So you don't want to fight fish with this shitty weapon. You want to fight them with the Dragon's Claw and Tiger's Fang, ideally. So right there, that was probably a grains right there. So we picked up, what, like 3,500 or so. And then over here, we're going to pick up a chest that's going to give us 4,000. And then there's also a chest that's going to give us 25,000 because it has the Talisman of Rebirth. But since we already have one of those in our inventory, it's going to give us the monetary equivalent of what one of those costs. And I guess since Miramasa is giving us 50% discount and is charging us 25,000, my surmise is that those would cost 50,000 ordinarily. So there you go. There's your 4,000, if that's what it equates to right there. We see how we're getting a ton of money. I mean, we just upgraded the Endless Fang and we're kind of short on money. But now, by the time we start fighting the boss, we'll be up to 50,000 or more. I would not equip a Talisman of Rebirth on the boss. And the good thing about that is he's an easy boss. I'll show you a great strategy against this guy. But I believe that there's another Talisman of Rebirth at the beginning of the next chapter as well, up on top of the column structure. But this is a Talisman of Rebirth over here, so if you already have one, like I said, there's 25,000 for you. So we've got a lot of money. We've got over 50,000. I was just double checking right there. But keep your, I would say, just keep your Howling Cannon on. And keep your Inferno on. And then also keep your Dragon's Claw and Tiger's Fang. And then if you can remember, right after you've killed the last fish, and before you've got sucked into the cutscene of the boss, quickly switch back to your Endless Fang so that you don't have to switch to that weapon every time you start the chapter. It would really be nice is if you died, it would just remember what weapon you were holding so that it could avoid this kind of nonsense. But here we go. The Endless Fang, its UT does a terrific amount of damage, and it can be slow to get a charge off in dire straits when he's doing his thing. If that happens, drop Nimpo, use the Inferno. It takes off a hell of a lot too when thrown at the correct time. And I'll show you what the correct time is in just one moment. But you need to listen simultaneously while you're fighting this guy. You need to listen for the fish, that humming sort of ghastly noise that they make, because that means that the fish are coming over to you. So what you need to do, if you see them, if you can get on them quickly enough, drop a UT on them, And then you can use their staggered essence to facilitate your charges as well and make this even more easy for yourself. Yeah, getting him right in the face, connecting it on his face right there. It was terrific. I used my Inferno right there because I was... and look how much it took away. Damn, that's a lot. That's definitely the right time to throw that. And we've got some Essence Stagger. That means that we killed some fish. But you see how he's called the Water Dragon? As though he's the only Water Dragon. It's kind of funny. I think Water Dragon would have sufficed. But that is it for the Water Dragon. And that is also simultaneously the end of Chapter 6. I hope that... sorry, I'm getting bit by the fish over here. They came out of goddamn nowhere, apparently. Sorry about that. I hope my walkthrough doesn't come out of nowhere, though, for you. I hope that you see it on a consistent basis when I start to drop the videos. Because it is always my pleasure to drop them. And it is always my pleasure at the end of each video to wish that you would continue to take care. And that is exactly my sentiment that I would like to leave you as I transition between these videos. So, please take care.